Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening podcast. And today is an episode number 43, where I am going to talk about the mistakes I made in Twin Flame journey. So today we'll cover 9 mistakes I made on this journey, and also some of the mistakes what I've heard from the others. Although I do not like the word of making mistakes or doing wrong things or why I didn't do this or why I didn't do that, because everything comes down to divine timing, and sometimes we need to experience certain things in order to realize why it was important. But why I am talking about the mistakes I made? Just because maybe it helps you to realize that this will be the next step you have to do, and you can let go of where you are at the moment and when you're feeling stuck and you don't know how to go on with it. As now, if I reflect back to my twin flame journey, I realized, wow, these little things would have made such a big difference if I would have just stepped out of my ego and allow myself to be weak, vulnerable, and surrender into this journey. So that's why I'm going to dive into immediately today to the topics. So then at the end of the podcast you hear some other parts what needs to be shared. The number one thing which I now see what I did very wrong was the fact that I didn't share this experience with anybody else. First of all, I just thought that why? Why should I share this with somebody? I'm in a way happily married, I have a beautiful home, beautiful everything, and then there was this experience that just simply doesn't want to go out of my head. It's there and it's just not going out of my head. So I thought I'll be able to handle this all by myself, that one point it will stop. And also while I was listening some of the twin flame coaches and so on, I still had that fear that no one will understand me. I thought that this, what I experienced, was something I cannot explain, and I don't know how to explain, and I just thought that, it's not real, it's gonna pass, it's gonna go away. So I'm not going to share this with anybody. And today when I reflect back and having my own calls with people with other twin flames, I see the power of that. I see the power of once we share with a person who has gone through the same thing, the same experience, the same love, the same connection, the same energy that you simply cannot put into the words, I realized that helps you to breathe. Because when we are under this heaviness of not believing this connection, hoping that it will go away, and at the same time being completely obsessed and trying to figure out ins and outs of that connection, and really, really deeply hoping that it will stop. I think talking to someone is very helpful. I didn't do that, and like I said, this would have caused me pretty much a heart attack because I did not listen that you need to get off of that heaviness, go somewhere where you can share about it. And I remember when I did my sound healing, it was the first time when I actually said, I met my twin flame and I believe I'm on my spiritual journey, but I just don't understand. And I think on that time, the man didn't tell me anything. He listened and looked at me and he just balanced my energies. And from there on, everything started to make sense. But until then, I kept everything to myself, which until I still don't know how I survived. Even a friend of mine who came across with her twin flame, she looked at me another day and she said to me, I don't know how you did that. I don't know how you were able to hold all of this inside of you and living a life at the same time, because it's so intense. It has so much coming out. And I'm saying, like I said on my previous episodes, I really felt that I'm gonna go crazy. I'm not going to be alive. I was really afraid. And now talking of the reasons why I didn't want to talk about it or why I didn't want to share about it. Number one was that I was afraid that no one understands. Even those coaches out there, and very rare of them have actually calls. Here is why I have made myself that you can call and we can have either a talk or a channeling, because I can channel and adjust the energies. But I didn't find, most of them were selling courses, which I can understand when there is a high volume. But at one point, I just really needed to talk to someone in that terms that I didn't even need answers, because the answers come when we speak it out or even when we write it down. So that's why with me also now, here is why my programs are this way, because I felt that was something I was needing at this time. So I have an option. Of course, you can book your call with me. Either we just have the consultation call or a channeling call. And another thing is, I'm going to explain these differences at the end of the podcast, what is just a consultation and what is the channeling call. But, and then you can share your story with me, where I read this on my podcast, where I pick up the energy, where I give my advice, where I tell you what to do, and I make your story real. In that terms that now it's written, it's spoken out, and it's alive. So it just gives you that sense of relief off from your shoulders, that first of all, you're not alone in this journey. And second of all, now it's real. And once it's real, it's so much easier to accept for you. The next thing is why I was hesitating to take part of any courses or any kind of course or anything, even though, yes, I watched a lot of All-Star Kurt. I think still his foundation is very true. And I never signed up for his course, because every time I thought, well, maybe it's a scam, maybe I'm not real, maybe this is not true, and so on. So I was afraid of scam that, eventually it doesn't make any sense, and that leads us to the second point, is that I didn't believe into that connection. So that was the big battle, actually, now when I'm seeing it, looking it from the distance and seeing myself when I was struggling with it. Because even though I knew that something happened that I cannot explain, I simply couldn't explain what happened to me. That energy, that exchange of energy, that feeling alive, that feeling there is no time and space existing, I just simply didn't understand what happened. Like a man I met much younger than me, or less than 10 years younger than me, not my type, not part of my, my agenda, because like I said, my marriage was great. I never looked at other men, never had any interest. I am very friendly by nature, but I don't have that, if I talk to you, that I feel attracted to you or anything like that. It's more, I really like to communicate. I really like to have fun, make jokes, all of that. And I'm a very social person. And then when I came across with that, I thought, this can't be real. Nothing on the picture, nothing. When I could write it down, look at it, nothing made sense to me. So I did not believe, even though I was watching Twin Flames videos by Kurt, by other Twin Flame coaches, everything was really resonating with me. But at the same time, I said, this is not true. I am not on this journey. It's gonna pass. It's gonna go away. This connection is not real. And now I'm talking about it. And the more we resist that this connection is not true, the deeper is the dark night of the soul. Because you're going to have every day that fight inside of you, where your mind says this is not true, and your soul says surrender, surrender, surrender. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, surrender into that moment. And I remember myself very clearly on that day where I could not take this no longer. It must have been in like 7th or 8th of August. I kind of believe it was on 8th of August. I was so devastated. I couldn't, because since then it's been already about 2 months when I've been in my dark night of the soul, and I was resisting it. I'm gonna be very honest. Even though I was watching the videos, I was doing everything, and will lead up to the next thing what I did wrong, of course. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't. I've read The Power of Now, which made me to realize certain things. I watched the Samadhi movie, which Kurt recommended. I did everything. And inside of me, my mind was still convinced that this is not real. It's going to go away. I think I have never felt as devastated and in a way of dead as I felt on that time. Because my soul was so awake. My soul was talking to me. My soul was there. And I was trying to suppress it and say, no, this is not me. This is not real. This is not true. How come? And here is just another thing why I am talking about the higher self, not in a way of twin flame union. Because it will be so easy to sell you the full picture that yes, just do this and you'll be in a union with your twin flame next month. Because if we are not accepting that journey, if we are not letting go of the fears, if we are not surrendering, it's not going to work out. It's simply not going to work out. There's a reason behind it. And I think like my soul self and my everything was like starting to already tell me that it's not about you and him in a physical union, although that was my biggest desire. I did some stupid things like I never done in my life before. Like going out in my city. I'm not saying I was not a party girl, but I was not actively, but I was going out in order to hope that I would run into my twin flame. Like all this kind of things. And I'm not saying that this is stupid. What I'm just saying is there was the fact that I did not trust that, first of all, I met my twin flame. So what would have happened if I would have run into? There's, I think, something I never shared on my podcast, but I'm just going to jump because, me and my podcast, I always jump from one thing to another. I could talk about that I did not believe, and this will lead up to the next point, one point what I made a mistake of. I did not believe on this connection whatsoever. But once I did a sound healing session, and I remember that day, I remember that so clearly because everything started to make sense to me in that moment. I was balanced. He really helped me. And I came to the street where I was, and I looked up behind, and I saw him with the back. He did not see me, but I did. And on that moment, I realized, wow, we are twin flames. My energies are balanced, and that is becoming a higher self. If I want physically in a union, if I want this to happen in my highest good, what the universe have asked me, I need to balance my energies. I need to let go of everything, every belief that is holding me back. And so coming to the fact, so now we have to go again back. When on 8th of August, I could not no longer take this energy. I said, well, listen, universe, if this is my twin flame, is this is really real as everyone is trying to tell me, then I am fine with that. I'm fine. I'm no longer resisting it. And if you want to take me now because I cannot no longer handle this pain. And mind you, I've given birth to 2 kids in my life. It was nothing compared to this long-term pain where I just feel how in my gut, in my system, everything hurts. All I want to do is cry, be on a bed, or the moment like, for example, I used to work, so I go out of my car, I smile, I'm super happy, I'm everything. The moment I sit in a car, I'm crying like I've never cried in my life before. And I couldn't stop it. And I remember on 8th of August, it must have been, where I was like, fine, it's twin flame. Whatever comes from it, it's okay. I allow it to come. On 22nd of August, I received a message. It was actually 21st when he sent the first one, but then I didn't see it, so I replied later. So everything moved into the 22nd. And then I looked it up to the sky and I told myself, well, okay, he is my twin flame. Fine by me. Now just guide me what I have to do. And from there on, everything was guided. But we end up to this at the end of the mistakes I made to realize how everything was guided. The third one, and I don't want to say I find this as a mistake. I find it is actually a comfort, and sometimes we need it. And it has like two parts of the story, two parts of the sides. It's not only one, because I've spoken a lot about it. It was watching tarot and believing that there are my answers. There everything is going to happen. And what do I mean under this is that I'm not saying that tarot is not real and you don't get messages from there. I'm a true believer that you can. But now here comes the twist. And the twist is you get energy update. Now you need to act based on this energy update. It's not like you are just sitting and let's say the tarot reader will tell you, oh, your twin flame is returning next week. And full of these 7 days, you're just waiting. You're doing nothing in order to make it happen that your twin flame could come back to you. And now I'm not saying only that you need to do physical actions such as going somewhere, doing something, being somewhere, and so on. Although these are also important parts. What I'm saying is that if there is an energy update like this, tap into yourself immediately of realizing what is holding you back. What is the biggest fear that is holding you back? One of the best ways you can do that is that you go within and you tell to yourself, and you talk this out loud of how you would see your union to happen. And in detail, you talk this in detail like it's happening right now. Whatever is there, take your time. The more longer time you take, 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, where you visualize, where you talk, where you are in this moment. You will really feel what is holding you back in order to come to the physical union. Such a feel of rejection, feel of abandonment, feel of you're going to lose your twin flame, fear of losing yourself, fear of being yourself, the true self, the authentic self, the one that is you, not the ego one. So there are a lot of things. And when you do that, things can happen. But when you just sit there and you say, oh, I watched the tarot reading today and it's going to say that my twin flame is going to reach out to me, I'm just going to wait. It's very, very unlikely. And here's why. Because everything is energy. If you have energy that is blocking inside of you of receiving something, then it can't come to you. It simply can't come to you. There is a block. It's the same if we take off the phone. When we block someone, we can't receive their messages. So when you block yourself and you block this connection, you can't receive the messages. And it's not only, that the message has to come directly from your twin. You can get the message through a third party, through something that is so, makes so much sense to you that you'll be like, why I have been denying it. So, in a way, tarot is great, and I'm not against it if many of you can listen. it gives us the comfort. It gives us the comfort when we are going through very hard times. The second thing is that when we take an action based on the energy updates, that if the tarot reader is doing the energy like gathering or channeling beforehand, you get like a blue, like it's like, you know, when you're going on a, what's it called, treasure hunt, you have a map. So tarot reader is like a map for you of realizing, oh, I have to release this energy, I have to go to this place, I have to do this, because everything is energy. The more blocks you have, the more it holds you back, because your twin flame activates these blocks for you that they will release. And normally these blocks are in our chakra. We know the main chakras, but we also have very little chakras in our body. Everything is energy. And if our body, who holds the energy, is blocked, it's very unlikely to receive messages, to receive information from your twin flame. Everything is energy, and you need to know that, because that's what is helping you to get there. Here is why when we're having a call with me, what I do often is that you tell me the whole story of yours. I just listen. I intuitively put the energy chart down. Whatever comes, I can feel what is up, what is down, what chakra is blocked, what is the fear, what is the thing. I'm not saying to you and everything in a first go, because I'm telling it will be overwhelming. But what I'm going to tell you is the current energy number. And when we know the current energy number, we know what we need to do next. And everything makes sense. I'm going to put it out on my Instagram and some other places where my clients have wrote me back what happened to them after, when I told them the energy number, when I told them what is going to happen, and they are just blown away. Here is why I am a big believer of the numbers, that they are a message to us. And when we get the message, we need to act based on it. And this is what I somehow did wrong. Again, I don't want to say it's wrong. Maybe it was for a purpose, for me to really go so deep, to understand this pain from the really core level. And also that today I can help you to realize that don't hold yourself back. It's okay. It's okay. You are in a safe place. You are part of the community. You're part of us, and you have a mission, and you're becoming your higher self that helps you to come to the union with your twin flame. As for me, it was always, I'm jumping a little bit from the first to third. I just want to be very honest. For me, it was always when I heard this twin flame coaches and everything, they were saying, oh, we help you to get back to the twin flame like tomorrow. I don't know, just do this for 30 days and you're going to be in union. And I always felt like there must be something more than this. Even though that was the biggest thing I wanted, I'm not going to lie. I was willing to leave everything behind. Can you imagine how desperate I was? Now I see this completely differently, of course. Do I still have a strong connection? Absolutely. Absolutely the strongest connection. But I see this very differently, because I can see how much I'm serving the world. Apparently, my husband is waking up, like going through that spiritual awakening, which is so beautiful. It's hard for him, but it's beautiful, and we balance ourselves. So it's amazing. He's my soulmate. When I met my twin flame, and I allow things to happen. I allow the experiences to come. So there is a magic in this. Then what was exactly we are ending up, the number fourth one was that I didn't allow things to happen. I was holding on to the things that no longer served me. I was holding on to the old beliefs, old things I was dreaming or manifesting, while my soul guides, my spirit and everything said, you deserve so much more. Why are you holding on to something that is no longer serving you? So within 1 month, I moved out of the apartment we used to live. from there on, within the next month, we were living in a completely different country, having a completely different experience, and everything started to make sense to me that while, yes, I knew who I was before, but this experience changed me to my core. Do I ask everybody to believe what I felt, what I experienced, what I was going through? No, because I know that you cannot simply understand this if you haven't gone through it. And that's okay. And that's absolutely fine. But for me to sit with this energy and believing that I shouldn't believe this either, I should still do what I was supposed to do. I still know who I was before that, so I'm going to hold on to that ego and I'm going to carry on. This is not getting us anywhere, because all of us can build an ego that serves us in certain level. But if it doesn't feed our soul, if it doesn't feed the mission that universe sent us here, then sooner or later you're going to find yourself really burned out. You find yourself really stuck. And you force yourself to do what you're supposed to do. So here is just another thing, that allowing yourself to be different. Allowing yourself to experience something you've never experienced before. Allowing yourself to just say things, do things you've never done before. As now my mindset is really about, I'm here for a very, very short time on planet Earth. My soul gets to experience this body for a very, very short time. I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna experience, and be as open-minded as I can, even though it can sound the most ridiculous. It doesn't mean I have to believe it. And here's the difference. I don't have to believe, and I don't have to take everything like as a truth. But I can be open to receive information, open to receive experiences, open to be there. And that's the difference. Another thing is, those who are going through the dark night of the soul, or if their twin flame just have left, and so that actually takes 4 of these in prior very well together, how we ended up on the 5th thing. And 5th mistake I made was, so there are a little bit 2 of them. One of the things is I was not journaling properly. I did journal. I kept writing things down on my phone time to time. I had certain things written out, but I didn't keep a consistent journal just because I didn't believe in it. So every time I was writing down something, the feelings I had, the way I felt, the things that happened, and everything, so on and so on, I really thought that it's not real. So I kind of didn't want to write it down, because I didn't want to write something my mind couldn't believe. I was like, this is not real, so why to waste time of that? Next thing is that I deleted all of the messages, all of the communication, everything. And it's actually, I know there's a lot about that detox, and maybe that was working for the fact that my twin flame came back. Because from there on, I have the only messages from the moment I started believing it and realizing that we have a really strong connection together. But I don't have prior. I don't have any of these messages in prior. And somehow it makes me sad, because there was a lot of information that I could now go back and look at it and realizing, wow, it was so obvious, but I was just too blind. I had too many insecurities, too many fears, and one of the biggest fear was that how someone can love me so deeply. A stranger can have that impact on me. Mind you, me and my twin flame did not speak the same language. But we had this, like we were exchanging the messages through our heads, that I knew what he's gonna say. These conversations were so smooth despite the fact that we didn't speak the same language. And now, since I don't have the beginning messages, it's hard for me to go back and look at where it started, how it started, what I didn't see on that point. So here it's just like, how do I say, it's a little battle, because of course the twin flame coaches were saying to do detox, delete everything you know, don't keep it up, let's let it go, and so on. My twin flame came back the moment I surrendered, and I said it doesn't matter. But I just, like, some parts of me are wondering, like, what did I say? How did I act? What happened to me in that moment? Because I know how I felt, but I cannot remember what did I say or how did I express. And it would be nice to know, just because I could reflect back today. None of these are available no longer. They are deleted from the library in that terms. And so here is just something I would like to say, that journal about it. Journal right now when there are hard times. Journal everything that comes to you and keep that really with you as a habit, because eventually it will make so much sense to you, and like you're starting to put the pieces of puzzle together. But right now you're feeling so overwhelmed. You might feel the way I did, you might not, but it's just having that continuous journaling is so helpful, first of all, to put this journey together. So this leads us to the next. It is a little bit connected with others, and the 6th point for me would be that I started to convince myself that the things I felt and the way I felt, that was not true. I started to find the excuses that, maybe I was really tired. Maybe after all of that COVID and all of that, I needed to communicate with new people, new strangers, and that maybe made you really happy, because I met mine right after the COVID restrictions were gone. I remember that when I started my work, I think the day I met my twin flame, we were both wearing the masks, because I know that I did not see his face or nothing, and he told me the same thing, that we must have had masks on, because he said, the first thing he said, I've never seen such a blue, deep eyes like yours. And I was blown away about it, because I remind you that he found me up on the WhatsApp group, and he just felt that he needs to contact me. And he said that the main reasons were my eyes. And I know we were wearing the mask, so we couldn't see our faces. We couldn't see anything apart from our eyes. And maybe also now, if I say that, maybe that was the beauty of COVID. That we finally started to see people with inside of their eyes, the deep soul. And that's why the awakening started to happen. Because we had to pay more attention into the eyes. And we didn't see what is there. But the eyes are a gateway into the soul. And even though, yes, might met your twin flame without the mask and so on, I believe that during the COVID, we might have developed the habit of looking into the eyes deeper. And now, that's why twin flames are coming also together, because we have that time of locking the eyes. As during these 2 years when we had to wear the mask, we were looking more deeper inside of the people's eyes. Anyways, and so like I said, for me was that I tried to convince myself and start getting belief system that this was not real. I most probably made that up, COVID, haven't seen people, fun to talk to someone, but I could not get this energy out of me. I could convince my mind to everything, and it helped me for a while, but the energy, even when I'm talking today about it, I can feel this energy. It's so beautiful. It's so powerful. So another thing is, which which is why which is why I didn't share about it. And why I also thought I will never do this podcast, I will never connect with other twin flames, I will never put the information out, and so on and so on and so on. Was that belief of what others would think of me when all of a sudden I start talking of the spiritual world, universe, energies, twin flames, all of that. I really had that belief that what my friends, my family would think I'm crazy, I've gone completely nuts, what is wrong with you? Even though, yes, we've been all spiritually connected, more or less, me being the speaker in front of it and saying that this is how I see things, this is how I feel, and it all starts to make sense to me, I felt like, well, they would think I'm crazy. And so I didn't want to speak about it. I didn't want to speak that I can feel the energies. I know why these things are happening. I can guide people. I can tell them. I have like the full information with me. But I decided I will not say anything. Until, of course, the universe was beating me up, saying, well, listen, if you don't want to share, if you don't want to help others, that we need, like I am part of helping others to get there, to get connected to the spiritual path. And again, here is another thing. I'm not saying that everybody should become, let's say, twin flame coaches or spiritual coaches or this or that. What I'm saying is, the more you connect with your soul, the better way you can serve your profession, whether you're a doctor, a teacher, let's say you run some kind of a business. If you involve of understanding the energies, understanding what do you need to change and balance, everything will start to come to you. Everything will start making sense to you. But here is why energies are so important. And also, of course, I still believe that you need to put out there your spiritual way, whichever way it is. But you just need to know that, oh, I have this little voice inside of me who is telling to me not to do this, do that. There's a little voice who is telling that I have to go to this person and heal that person, and so on and so on and so on. So for me, it was very difficult to start that podcast. I think I was resisting it about 2 months, month and a half. Yeah, something like this. But eventually I was so exhausted that my spirit guides, the universe, didn't allow me to sleep, because they could wake me up every morning at 2 a.m., tell me, you need to start a podcast, you need to share your experience. And it was like constant. And after, I was so exhausted that I just took out my microphone. I said, I'm going to do my first episode. If 10 people listen, if that's what you want, I'm going to do it. Today, I've connected with so many of you, and I am so, so thankful, beyond thankful, to be honest, because like you are another piece of puzzle that makes sense to me. I needed to share this experience. I needed to tell you that everything is going to be actually okay. First of all, you are in a union already. You're not in a physical union, but you are in a union already. And now we need to balance it out. We need to let go of the old self of yours. So it's just all the process, and I was resisting it. And now if I look at back, what if I wouldn't start it? I know I would have slept until today, for sure, because it was very intense. It was every morning 2 a.m. Every morning 2 a.m. Until I gave up. I was like, well, listen, I'm going to do what you asked me to do. So, and I am beyond thankful for that. I'm beyond thankful for my twin flame. I'm beyond thankful for my podcast, my people who I connect with, my soul family, as I can see how I am somehow also the middleman of connecting others to bring more love and light, because they are holding it back and they are questioning whether what they're feeling and seeing should go out there, and it should. And now I go number 8, which is gonna go back to the beginning a little bit. The sign number 8 is that not trusting and being skeptical about everything. So for me, such as doing heavy meditation, sound healing, breath work, retreats. It was my first retreat was now in my 30s where I went, and that made sense to me why I had to be there. So I was really like also the same way of not having a call with somebody, not talking, not being open-minded that maybe there is an answer. And so what happened, I remember the woman who did my soul realignment, I told her and she said, you're right now in between 3D and 5D. You're in the 4D, and 4D is the one where we are like, it's like a pause. It's the moment where we're going to go into the 5D. And she told me, you need a retreat or you need something that will push you to the 5D. You are like in between. And then I received a message on my Instagram that I had won a sound healing session, which I never participated on. I tell you that. I never participated on any of these things. I had no idea about it. I received the message exactly the day after she told me that. And actually, she was the first one when I did my soul realignment. Like I said, I used to have I used to help other spiritual, people in a way of with their marketing. And I remember when my soul realignment came across with me, and I told her, listen, do this to me because I need to experience, I need to understand how to put the information out there, because I cannot lie, I cannot just say something. And she did the soul realignment for me, and she was the first person I kind of trusted, and she did also the Akashic records for me. But I'm going to be very honest, when she did Akashic records to me and she told me which planetary I come from, what are my skills, what I have to do, so on and so on and so on. And we recorded that Zoom episode that I can always go back and re-listen to it, because she said it's a lot of information. I'm going to be very honest. From the first, I was like, great story, like I didn't really believe in it. Or I wouldn't say I didn't believe, but it was more of the fact that, yeah, great fairy tale, but where is the proof? And until I started to go all through the process, and everything made sense to me. And so now it's exactly why I'm talking about it, that when we are like skeptical like me, very logical, trying to find the answers, while the answers were always in front of me, and the more open I would have been, the more, and it's not about right or wrong, the more it would have guided me somehow maybe to do things faster, or just not that my dark night of the soul was just a disastrous. Here is why, again, I'm saying why I have opened up that you can have a consultation call with me. As many of you know, it used to be free. Right now it's for a smaller fee, 3 times cheaper than, like the first call is 3 times cheaper than the normal. It's just for the fact that you would take that seriously and you will realize how important it is for you. I realized that many who had free calls, somehow they didn't take the action steps that seriously. And so it's like they got an information, but then it stayed over there. So it's just for a small fee in a way of getting it started. And then the 9th point is not understanding the science and not believing into the science. Like we see the 1111, 222, 333, and so on and so on and so on. They are all messages to us in order to understand. 1111 is, even though yes, it's a twin flame number, it's also a number that you've been called to the new portal. When we see 1111, it shows you're being called. You can also ask through meditation. I have some of the videos out there where you can ask if it's your twin flame and say, show me 1111. It will show you 1111. So I did try to ignore all of these signs. I was like, no, that's not real. That's not real. That's not true. When it's going to stop? I don't need this. So on and so on. So, of course, it was the beginning. Now I have a journal that is pretty much in detail where I'm writing it down of putting this together as an ultimate language of the universe. I just want to say that one number is not only to the one thing. And here is why I try to explain that normally when you receive the number, tap into what you're feeling inside, because it will give you, and not the mind, immediately the first feelings, just say it out. As this is connected to you, we have so many number combination. Everybody who has seen Matrix have seen the numbers, have seen the Interstellar. You're realizing that they were communicating from another planetary, from another dimension, through the numbers. And here is something that happened to me yesterday that is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Those who've seen the Interstellar, they know. And if you haven't, I would recommend you to watch it. Cooper and Murphy are connecting, like sending messages, because they are in a different planetary, different dimensions. And Murphy is receiving messages when she was a little kid on her watch, and the books were falling out of the shelf. But also on the watch could move into the certain directions, come back, move back, move back. And I'm not kidding you. Yesterday we were, I wear a watch, but it's like more of the watch in a way of, it's very beautiful watch and very amazing watch, but it actually doesn't work because I haven't replaced the batteries. And it's been, I think, like 2 years like this that I haven't replaced the batteries. As I'm just wearing this watch when I'm going out. It's not my daily watch. And I somehow always forget it's me. It's typical me. And yesterday I'm at the restaurant and I'm looking at my watch and it's moving. It's ticking. And I am like, what? It's 2 years. The batteries has not been changed. And then I look at this. I'm not telling the time right now because I need to decode that into myself, what the universe is trying to tell me. But let me just say that there was a 5-minute span. The minute, how do you say, the minute, like, we have an hour, this line, and the minute line, which are moving. And the minute line could go up to 5 minutes and then pull itself back. 5 minutes again and pull itself back. So the time never moves. Like it goes forward and it goes back. It goes forward. And meanwhile, the smallest one that is doing the seconds is keep on going. And I looked at this and I'm like, wow, somebody is sending me a message. I need to tap into that. I need to understand this. The chances that the watch that hasn't been working 2 years, and I've been really, because this watch more looks like an accessory than a watch itself, so I never really paid attention. Although in my culture we say that we shouldn't wear a watch that is not moving, because that means the time is still and nothing is coming. But like I said, I didn't really pay attention, and yesterday it blew my mind. I was like, that is insane. That is absolutely insane. So I'm trying to figure out that message, what the universe is trying to tell me, what is the new timeline I'm tapping into, and this will all come in the future. So please make sure to like and subscribe if you are curious to know what is the answer over there. And right now, I'm also, like I said, I'm putting together the manual of each sign, what it's trying to tell you and when it's trying to tell you. That's why, for example, 1111 doesn't have only one meaning. It has many meanings depending on the situation, depending where you are at the moment, and your energy number. So the energy number we can figure out during our call. You can book the call to inflameawakeningjourney.com. Book your call, and if you have any issues with the payments, if there are something that doesn't go through, always feel free to email to me, because some of you have some issues. I'm not always the best when it comes to fixing all the website things, but I try my best, and having a communication with you is the best. So these were the 9 mistakes I made. As you can see, they are all connected one way or another. And again, I don't want to call them mistakes somehow, because everything happens when I've experienced something, the divine timing, and allowing it to come to me. But just because I find that these were the things that holding me back for so long to come to the union where I am today, I received another day an email, YouTube comment about where a woman said, oh, again, another one who is not actually in the 3D union with the twin flame tells us how to become a union. And then I thought again that how important is for me to put my message out there that the union first comes inside of you. There is no union 3D if you are not in a union within yourself. So 3D union is only possible when you are in your higher self, when your divine feminine and your divine masculine is in balance, your fears are unblocked, because that's why your twin flame came to your life, to unblock your fears, to unblock your trauma, to unblock your pain, because they see the most beautiful part of you. They want to help you to get where you're supposed to do. They want to help you to become your higher self. So that's what means union actually. Union means of serving the world on your higher self. We're not talking of the 3D union. We're talking of the union that makes everything happen to you. The work you're supposed to do, the people you're supposed to surround yourself with, and if you're going to be with your twin flame, that love energy, you're going to serve it to the world. It's not to keep only for yourself. You are now love, and you're going to serve the world with love. We need your love. We need your care. We need that beautiful thing. So go within. Okay, so that was this. But I have a couple of things to say based on everything, and so many wonderful things are happening. I'm going to say one thing for any of my listeners in Australia, especially in Sydney. If you are listening, I met another very beautiful man who is on a twin flame journey, and he has amazing spiritual connection, amazing spiritual energy. And if you want to be in contact with him and, also lift your energy, become the higher self, as I cannot be in Australia. Australia is quite far for me to come, but I hope that one day I come and we could have also a union in 3D with all my twin flames. But that's something that I found that his energy is very profound. He's on a twin flame journey and he would like to connect with others. Just sign up for my newsletter. It will be over there on twinflameawakeningjourney.com, and you'll get all the information. Then the next thing is, I hold my tears back a little bit because I start to cry immediately. Last, I think 3 episodes ago, I said I need a new computer because my 2 other computers, they refuse editing my twin flame content energy things. They just refuse. And I said I need a new computer, and if any of you can donate and can just $1 or $2 or $5, it will help me a lot to get this faster and so on. I just want to say I've reached almost half is together within such a short time, and I'm so thankful. I am so thankful. I have pretty much meditated for each one of you who donated. You can still donate, those who feel like they would like to participate over here. $1, $2, $5, whichever comes to your head that you feel like my content is helping you and you would like to receive more, and that I could be more active, that my computer just literally will not freeze while I'm editing the podcast or putting things together. And the links are in bio, so you don't have to. Make sure you take care of yourself first. But if you have and you want to pay it forward, it's more than welcome. And each one of you who donated, your donations have been very generous. One of the most beautiful one was 111.11. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? What a beautiful gift for me. And each one of you have donated. You will have, I already made out for myself what I'm gonna give it back to you based on helping me on that process of putting out more and better content. And that will be a lifetime for you, as you've taken a time to help this message to go out for wider people and so on. Because if I have a new computer, that means I can do things faster. I can even make more content, because right now it has been that the delay has been because literally my computer freeze in the middle, and I'm thinking like, I just edited it 2-3 hours and now I'm gonna go back. So it's just, thank you so much for each one of you. I will definitely, like I said, and you'll be, not your full names, I will not put anyone's full names, but you'll be the forever investors, donation investors, supporters on every single project that comes from there. Your names will be always there, or in initials, because it's actually you who is helping this to make it happen. So thank you so much. I am so thankful. I'm holding my tears back, because honestly, I'm gonna say that the moment I see I've received some money, I just have tears, because I never thought this is possible. And being connected with my soul family, who is so profound and so beautiful, I just want to say thank you. But again, it doesn't mean that those who doesn't donate, you don't mean to me a lot. You do mean to me everything. I know many of you are struggling financially. I know that many of you have worst times of your life, and that's why I say please take care of yourself first. I know even your your comment, or just your email to me is equivalent. It has to be anything in a money exchange wise. I just want to say that. So what else we have coming up? Those who are on a Patreon, as you know, on my Patreon there is more content out there. You always have an access to extra content that might be helpful. There is one of the episodes that I never released, so if those who want to listen, who are the false and real twin flames, it's out there. The Patreon is $5.99 a month. That's again a support that I can give you. And like this, as for me, it's very important that this information would go out to as many people as possible. And I know when we are in, like I said to you, I was holding myself back in terms of, no, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to join any group calls. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. It's actually was holding me back of speaking my truth and realizing, opening the throat chakra through that. So this Sunday, on what it is, it's on the when is the date now? 8th of October. 8th of October, 12 o'clock New York time, 6 o'clock Central European time. We'll meet again on Patreon, like in a way of Zoom, but it's free for the Patreons, and even it's free for you if you don't have the funds right now. It's absolutely fine. These 2 monthly group calls are involved, like included for the Twin Flames who are supporting me on Patreon. And that helps me to not to make any ticket price for it, or making any course price for it, and so on and so on. Like this, if you support, the 2 calls per month are there. If you have 5 people, if you have 25 people, if you have 100, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that I can keep that in a way of free, that the support is there and I can do it. So if you can support, it's wonderful. To also listen to my previous episode with Dan-Marie Blatt. Her book is coming out. We're going to do a new episode together as well. Those who have any questions, want some guidance, please feel free to. And what else I want to say? There was something, this is a very secret project of mine, but I just want to say a little bit that you could start preparing. next year, there will be a first Twin Flame retreat here in Europe, in a very beautiful island. I'm starting to prepare this right now. It will be only for 10 people. I'll try to make it as cost effective as possible. And that will be the one where if you feel stuck and if you don't know how to get started, the first one will be here in Europe because I'm based here. If that will go well, and I know I have a lot of listeners in the United States and so on, I will definitely find my ways to do that, to give everything what helped me to you. So you can a little bit start saving up or think about it. I will try to find the ways of splitting it, that you can pay monthly, or like before it comes, that it's not so much of a burden for you. But this is all coming, so just make sure to stay tuned. I'm very excited about it because my guides were telling me I have to do that, and I believe that this will change a lot. And when we come together, the energy will be amazing as we are twin flames. Anyways, that was a lot for today, I believe, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got some kind of information. For those who wish to book their consultation, it's twinflameawakeningjourney.com. The links are in bio. If you wish to share your story with me, twinflameawakeningjourney@gmail.com. The next episode, I will read someone's story. I'll go into it and give an overview. Happy October. Sorry, not August. Happy October, and surrender into this fall now. Lots of love and lots of light. You are the best, and I'm so blessed that you are here today. Thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for commenting. I love you.